Welcome to Broadcast Club Weekly. I'm Andrea, and this week I actually have watched a lot of stuff, so that's good. Some things first though. Kami-sama Kiss is on hiatus this week, apparently, so I have not watched that, obviously, and I decided to just forget about Death Parade because I honestly don't care. The more I've thought about the first episode, the less I like it, and I asked on Twitter if my lack of enjoyment of the first episode, if it was worth watching the second and third, and the people, they all said no, it's not worth it. So Death Parade is gone, and there's no new shows either because I haven't really been recommended anything, so I'm sticking to the ones that I'm currently watching, and we'll see how long that lasts. But yeah, alright, so starting off with Idolmaster, Cinderella Girls, third episode. This was a blast. This was a really solid episode, just like the first two. Probably the best so far, and there are two things that attribute to that. First one being that we got introduced to more of the side cast this time. They weren't really as background characters. We got a really good introduction to Miku, the cat girl idol, who quickly became my favorite character, so that's awesome. So that was really fun. Mio and Rin and Uzuki all have some great chemistry together, and they just enjoy to behold. Like, that's really good. But the second reason, and the more important reason, is really that they had a really solid performance part that got really good build-up. Because the entire episode was about training for the big concert and then executing the big concert, and it was all done splendid. Like, it was really good, and the actual performance, well, you know, as much as I love Love Live, and I do like Love Live better than Idolmaster, it's nice to see some really genuinely good 2D dancing now and then, and this was really fucking good, so that's great. Overall, episode was beautiful, and the music was great, and it was just a joy to behold. It was this continues to be one of the best examples of how to make an introductory idol series, in my opinion, and I still wholeheartedly recommend it to anyone, even if you're not that into idol shows, because it's just such a genuinely good show that it's completely worth watching for that reason alone. Secondly, we have Can't Call, which I watched episode 2 and episode 3 of. Episode 2 I skipped last week due to not really having time to watch things. And it's gotten much better than the first episode, much better. So much so that I'm happy to say that it's genuinely a great show now, and that's good. The second episode basically delved more into what's her name? Fubuki, I think. The main character getting used to. It's probably not Fubuki. I probably just completely messed up my my anime creds here. That's how terrible I am with this stuff. But her getting used to being a battleship and a destroyed basic. And it was basically a big training montage, but we also got to learn the other characters. And then the third episode is just a big flag episode. Like, every scene is basically setting up. How do I go about talking about this without spoiling it in case you still haven't seen it? Well, there's basically death flags everywhere, and it's unclear like what they're going to do with that, because up to this point the series has been very friendly, very kind. It hasn't been a dark show in any regard of the word, any sense of the word, I mean. And well, that quickly changes, and it dealt with that pretty well so far, and it had a really good sad ending. Won't give away exactly what happens, or who it relates to, or whether or which death flags were genuine, because there were numerous ones for various different characters. But it was just a genuinely great episode that shows that Cancol will take a different direction than I first anticipated, which is nice. I like being surprised. Kofuku Graffiti I go back into, and I want to like it more than I do. I really do, because I love the concept. I like the idea of girls just, you know, drawing and eating food, like making food as well, of course. And that's just, it's a great concept, and I'm sure the manga is really, really solid. I just can't stand the direction of the show. It's so distracting, and it's Shaft. It's Shaft being Shaft, and I don't like Shaft. I know most people do. I know most people love Madoka. They love Monogatari, Nisekoi. The only Shaft show I really liked was Hidamari Sketch, and in this regard, they're very different in style. Like there's, I think the third episode of Kofuku Graffiti basically had like there was like a take. It was like a 2-minute part of the episode in which not a single shot was a normal or calm or like easy to quickly distinguish shot. Everything had to be awkward or obscure or just weird enough to be like in your face and look at how different we can make things just because we're Shaft. And I don't like that. I think it's very pretentious, and I think it's absolutely just bothersome, and I think it hurts the anime a lot, because the actual written content is good. It's really well written, and it's fun. The characters are entertaining, and the art itself is really good, but the presentation and the direction just completely ruins it. And despite episode 2 and 3 being way better than episode 1, which I still liked, and I do like this as well, I just feel that it's a great show being held back by, well, that presentation. It's unfortunate, but that's just how I feel. Unlike Rolling Girls, which is probably better than it has any right to be. Oh my. I love this show. I love Rolling Girls. I'm completely on board with the presentation for this one, which is similar to Kofuku Graffiti, over the top and in your face, but it understands that it doesn't have to be weird in every take, and that you actually can like keep a focus, and I like that. So the second episode basically just followed up the first episode, but the third episode takes the show in a completely new direction, basically starting a road trip to gather up the Moonlight Stones, I think they're called, the heart-shaped rocks, and the main four girls driving around on motorcycles and trying to retrieve them in various parts of the world, and that's cool. That's cool. I like that concept a lot. The first place they go to is basically Comiket 24/7 land, which is what Tokyo has become. Or I guess it's Akihabara has become, it's be exact, but that was really cool, and like they made it showed that basically the entire nation they arrive in, it has its own art style and everything, and its own best that protects the city, and it's completely different from the first episodes, but in a great way. It makes it feel like every new area they go to will be different and unique, which I love, and that's cool. I really enjoyed that. Overall, it was really funny as well. The characters are rich, they're entertaining, they're likable. The music is absolutely wonderful. The OP is probably the strongest song of the season, and the absolute best sequence as well. I love it. So yeah, this was a show I was very, very negative on before it aired. I thought the preview looked shit, and the comparisons to other shows didn't make me happy. But then I liked the first episode. I loved the second episode, and the third episode was, in my opinion, the strongest. Some people call it the weakest, probably because of the shift in style. But I personally really, really liked what they did with it, and I recommend it so much. Yeah, it's great. It's just really, really entertaining. Shirobako. Shirobako continues being my favorite show this year, and this week continues it just being really strong with showing how anime comes to be, and bringing up issues and bringing up how things work and explaining how it works. It's basically just a really interesting thing to watch as someone interested in the industry, but it's also a really genuinely good series, and it's funny and the characters are charming. I don't think there's been a single bad episode of it yet, and this sure wasn't one either. It's a bit hard to talk about Shirobako because in the end it's really just the same thing every week but in different steps. Like, they're working to make anime and they have struggles along the way, as you will have. But I like that the first half of the series last year dealt with the anime that they had. Production was basically moving, and they were just about to air the first episode, and they went to the end of the season. And now we get to see conception towards that point, and casting, and the first storyboards being drawn, and all that stuff, and location gathering and stuff like that. And it's really cool. And it really makes you appreciate just animated, animation in general. Like animated feature films, animated series, not just anime, but like just animation. It really, really does make you enjoy it more. And the fact that it's such a great show in and of itself just completely helps. Like, I could not praise Shirobako more. I believe that anyone who is at all interested in animation needs to watch Shirobako. Like, it's that kind of show. It's that special. So yeah, I've been very. I just watched Shirobako. It's on Crunchyroll. You can watch it there for free, except the latest episode. Yurikuma Arashi. This took a turn for the better. I've been a bit on and off on it in the last 2 weeks, and I wasn't sure how I felt about it, because it was... I couldn't really put my finger on what it was trying to say, and I wasn't that pleased with some of the presentation, but this episode turned me around completely. I now feel I get the focus of the show, I now feel I understand what it's trying to do. And what really, really, really made it work for me was the explanation of the invisible storm and how that works. And it was really, really good, because basically what the invisible storm is it's heteronormativity just turned into a system, like an actual like system in place being gone through by other people, and that was really cool. Like, seeing that, it's not just a show with lesbians in it; it's a show about gay people. Like, it's about being gay. And if that wasn't clear the first 2 episodes, in which you could, interpret this as saying other things about homosexuality or the predatory nature of sex and stuff like that, it's pretty clear now. No, this is about homosexual people and how we is the wrong word because I'm homosexual, but how people perceive them as different, and how they become outsiders and they stand out of the group, and it's beautiful. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And this time, the promised kiss, which is the sequence that I referred to as the cunnilingus sequence before, actually was different, and that made me happy because I was afraid it was going to be the same scene every week. But no, things are changing now, and Kuroha is taking more of an active part in what's going on in the story, and I'm so invested in what's going to happen next. So that's wonderful. And those are the anime I watched this week, and I realized now I was very positive this week. I had my issues with Kofu Graffiti's presentation, but I still enjoyed that. So right now I'm just watching things I like, and I hope I'll keep liking them for the rest of the season. I'm still below 15 minutes until, well, I guess past 15 minutes. I want to take some time and talk about another anime that I didn't watch this week, but I want to say some words about. And it's not a series. It's Lupin the Third, Daisuke Jigen's Gravestone, which was a 2-part OVA released last year. I believe it's coming out on Blu-ray next month, I think. And it's absolutely wonderful. It's the best Lupin the Third we have gotten since, I don't know, the 80s. It's absolutely wonderful, and I believe it's basically the tone setting up for Lupin the Third Part 4 starting in April. And if that's the case, it's going to be wonderful. I won't spoil any part of it. I just say please watch it if you're at all interested in Lupin the Third. If you weren't that into the more campy movies in recent years, or if you weren't into A Woman in Fujikimine, don't worry. Watch this. Watch Daisuke Jigen's Gravestone. This is classic Lupin, and it's just absolutely glorious. Great soundtrack as well. Great performance from everyone. Great art. Everything about it was great. It was one of my favorite things released last year, and I feel not enough people are giving it credit, so here's my part in giving it some credit, I suppose. Next week, I believe Kami-sama Kiss will be coming back, so I'll be watching that as well, and I will try to have caught up on JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, because I'm still a few episodes behind. Although I could just jump in because I've read the manga, but, I don't want to. And I might take up some Twitter suggestions on series to watch, just so I get some more variety in here, because I feel I'm not watching enough shows right now. If you want to follow me on Twitter, that's Andrea_Ritsu. And this has been Broadcast Club Weekly, and I will see you next week.